Okay guys, I'm back. I apologize for the computer quitting on me. So we're going to be reading off the rest of these questions, and we're going to start with... Oh, before I go any further, I'd like to thank 1984 Porter for sending in his questions, and I do apologize again for not being able to incorporate your video with my video due to the sound issues. So again, thanks Porter for your questions, and Lunacy is yours as well. So we're going to move on to the Proto Alex. We're going to go ahead and get his questions. Number one is, who's your favorite DC Comics writer? Jeff Johns. Kick-ass writer. Really good writer right now. Anything he writes, I got to have it. The Flash, Green Lantern. He helped relaunch the Justice Society. He's been involved with Justice League from here and there. Anything he writes, to me, is pretty much gold. So, there's my answer for your first question. TPA, Proto Alex, Alex, whatever you want me to call you. Your second question is, have you read The Flash? And if so, what do you think of it? I love it. I absolutely love it. I am a Flash fan. I have been a Flash fan ever since I started reading comics as just a wee lad. I got started reading comics when I was like 5 or 6 years old, way back in the mid-70s, you might say. And The Flash was pretty much the very first comic I ever picked up to read, because my cousin, my older cousin, he was, I'm too old for comics, so I'm going to quit reading them here. You can have them. You're a little kid. These are for babies. Yeah. Now when he sees me, he's like, dude, how much are those comics worth I gave you? I'm like, you ain't getting them back. But anyway, I've read The Flash pretty much solid through the 70s, the 80s, 90s, up till today. I do have Flash comics that date as far back as 1960, so I'm really glad to see Barry Allen back. I mean, I grew up on Barry Allen. It took me a while to get readjusted to Wally West. I mean, when his first so many issues, I didn't really like Wally at all. I was just glad there was still a Flash, but I didn't really like Wally. But once they started developing his character and actually let it mature and put him, you know, as I said, the character matured and growed, and he became my second favorite Flash, you might say. Really got to where I liked Wally, but I just always wanted Barry back. I always did want Barry back, and I'm glad to have him back myself. So, as far as what I think about the new series, I love it. I haven't managed to pick up the newest issue yet with Hot Pursuit, so I'm really looking forward to picking that issue up. So your third question is, what's your favorite Superman origin story, and which one would you recommend to your subscribers? I'm not really a big Superman reader, you might say. I don't really read a whole lot of Superman comics. Never really been that big of a Superman fan, to be honest with you. I've always felt more towards the Flash, Green Lantern, Batman, but so I can't really think of an origin story. I know there was one back in the 80s that really stands out, but I can't think of who wrote it. I just can't think of the name of it right now. I can't really think of who wrote it. If I could think of it, I might post it below. But for now, I just can't answer this question. Number 4, I do apologize for that. Number 4 is, who's your favorite Lantern from the emotional spectrum? Larfleeze. I love Larfleeze. Larfleeze is, he's just funnier than a bag of hammers, you might say. He's funnier than a bag of hammers. So Larfleeze is my favorite lantern from the emotional spectrum. His next question is, who is your favorite Green Lantern? Well, again, I grew up with Hal Jordan. But I really, really like Guy Gardner. And his just overall badass, smart-ass attitude. I just love Guy Gardner. So Gardner is pretty much my favorite Green Lantern. And his last question is, who's your favorite Flash? Which I pretty much answered in his Flash question, number 2 question, which is Barry Allen. Even though Wally West is a very, very, very close second. So, the Proto Alex, there's your questions. I hope the answers are to your liking. So, thank you for your participation in this. So, we're going to move on up the list here to the next question. Set of questions comes from Dumbass Reviewer. Man, that is just the absolute coolest username of all time. I've got to say, Dumbass Reviewer. That's just cool as hell. I love that. And he says, great video, Brian. And here's his questions. He has 3 of them. Number 1, what do you think of the year of 2010? Is it a good or bad year to you? And I think that's pretty much what we had going around with that tag, memorable moments or something like that. But for 2010, it was kind of good and bad. It started off bad, went to good. So overall, it was a mixed bag for me. And somebody just signed into my Windows Live Messenger. I don't know who the hell you are. Sorry about that. So good, bad, it was a little mixed bag. And number 2 is, what kind of toys do you have as a kid? Or do you mean did I have as a kid? I think you meant did I have as a kid. As a kid, and I mean a kid. Before Transformers, I was a teenager when Transformers and G.I. Joe came out. So as a kid, the only toys I actually had were rocks and sticks. And my next door neighbor, Grog the Caveman. No, I'm just kidding. As far as toys, all I had were the Hot Wheels, Tonka toys. That's pretty much all I had. And I'm also going to go on record by saying that Tonka is not built Tonka tough. Wrong. You've got a little 6-year-old kid out in the yard with a hammer beating their steel dump truck to death. Those things aren't indestructible. I can tell you right now. You can beat those things on a rock, they will eventually fall apart. Trust me. And plus, if your dad runs over one with his truck, it flattens them into Tonka pizza. So as a kid, I had Hot Wheels, Tonka trucks, what were actually left of them. I was a very destructive kid. I didn't actually learn to appreciate stuff until Transformers and G.I. Joe. So anyway, those were as a kid. That's what I had. And then, like I said, Transformers and G.I. Joe came along when I was a teenager in high school. And I actually developed into a strong army kind of thing and fell towards G.I. Joe. And then Transformers came out with Autobot Hound, and him being an Army Jeep, he was my first pickup as a Transformer. And from there it was a rocket sled all the way till now with Transformers. So I hope you like the answer for that one. Number 3 is, how long have you been collecting action figures? Well, basically I'm a casual G.I. Joe collector, so I've collected G.I. Joe off and on here and there since '82. I've picked up a vehicle or a figure here and there, gave them away, sold them, you name it, traded, you name it. And I still casually pick up G.I. Joes today. Transformers, I started with them in '84 when they first were released with Hound. So G.I. Joe and Transformers are over 20 years, pretty much 1982, 1984 up until now, so that's over 20 some years. As far as DC Universe Classics, I didn't actually start collecting those until late 2009. Marvel Universe, I started when, well, a few months after they actually first brought the figures out. Everything else I'm just a mixed bag with. I just grab what I like and go. I don't, but that's pretty much it. You know, I've been collecting pretty much anything since pretty much 1982, you might say. So almost, what, 30 years? So there's his 3 questions. I thank you, DAR, for your questions. Thanks for taking part in all this, sir, and we'll move on up to the list to the next participant. Come on down. I hope the producers of The Price is Right don't sue me for that. Anyway, the next one is from Mole Cheek 69. I do believe you're Dumbass's brother, are you not? I think. I'm not for sure. If not, correct me. Who are the best reviewers, in your opinion, in YouTube? The best, in my opinion, on YouTube. Bang, 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 bang. I really like Lunacy05 and Aetherist69. I really enjoy their videos because they're a mixed bag of everything, like me, like myself. They enjoy a little bit of everything. As far as G.I. Joe reviewers, Formby X is a good G.I. Joe reviewer. I was really enjoying Brucifer 48060 until he dropped off radar. I was really enjoying his G.I. Joe vids until, like I said, he dropped off the radar. So do hope to see him come back soon. Another good G.I. Joe reviewer, or, well, he's not exactly a reviewer. His videos are thought videos. Is G.I. Joe Fan 1976. His G.I. Joe videos are always fun to watch. Always nice to watch. As far as Transformer reviewers, I'd have to say P.A. Great Transformer reviewer. P.A. Vangelis, TJ Omega, really great reviewers. But all in all you guys are great. You really are, all of you. I mean, every one of you guys are great reviewers. But those are just some of the ones that really top my list. And, you know, like I said, you know, just overall mixed bag of everything from DC to Marvel to G.I. Joe to Transformers. Check out Lunacy. Check out Aetherist. Check out the review spot. Check him out as well. Really, really good, top-notch reviewer. I mean, for an overall mixed bag of everything. So those are some of my favorite reviewers, in my opinion, on YouTube. But like I said, everybody. I enjoy watching everybody, and I think everybody's great. So I hope that answers your question, Mole Cheek, because you only had the one. So we're going to thank you for your participation in this. So we'll move on up here to who's next, and we're gonna say Zizzle Rizzle. Zizzle me Rizzle. 8707. Wow. Thank you. You sent in some questions, which I knew you did. I just so Zach sent me some questions. We're gonna get to him. And we're going to say, his first question is, has 2010 been good or bad for you? Which is pretty much what DAR asked. So, yeah, for me, it's been good and bad. Number 2, what got you started collecting Transformers? Actually, I think I'd actually read the comics before I picked up any of the figures, and I truly, like I said, I'm a huge comic book fan. So I love the comic book series, and you know, like I said, I had like a little army kind of thing going on back at that time, so G.I. Joe was pretty much on the shelves at my house at that time. And I found Transformers Hound, so him being the natural army color for the Transformers, he was pretty much my first pickup. And what really got me started on collecting Transformers is just the engineering, the mechanics that go into them. They're just, and plus it's like getting 2 toys in one. Just the overall engineering and mechanics of those things. Just some of them, I just love the transformations. I love how getting in there and how they just come together, and just how do you do that? So that's what really got me started, was the Marvel Comics. Number 3 says, what is your job? My job is hell on earth. Plain and simple, it's hell on earth. No, actually, my job is kind of a little hard to explain. I'm somewhat of a machine operator, you might say. I run heavy equipment, bulldozer, loaders, things like that. But I'm also kind of a operator slash mechanic kind of thing. But my job is pretty much I work for a coal mining industry company. Guys go underground. They use all the equipment to dig the coal out from the seams, and they send it outside. I'm an outside guy, so I usually run the loader, keep everything moved out from under the conveyors, keep it from piling up too high and blocking everything off. So I have to keep all that moved, you know, because when it comes out mixed bag, coal, and rock. So we have to keep the coal in a stockpile, and we have to keep the rock moved into a slate pile. Things break down, I'm there to help fix those. So my job basically is a heavy equipment operator slash mechanic. That's what my job is for a coal mining operation. It's not that bad of a job. I'm outdoors, outside all the time, and right now it's miserable being outside because of the weather here. You know, we've been getting some pretty good little spits of snow, and it's miserable, cold, and what the hell am I? Get away from me. Anyway, that's pretty much it for my job. You know, the hours are long and torturous and painful, but the money is just great. So I hope I answer your question there, Zach. And I'm gonna take a little bit of a break right here. So guys, you know, the computer's cutting off on me again. So we're gonna be right back with the rest of Zach's questions. I'll be right back.